So why should somebody be excited for the missions conference that's coming up in a few weeks?
So this year our topic is building the global church. And I think with our building project, it's a good emphasis on not just our church here at home, but globally, what Christ is doing in the nations to redeem people to himself. And so over those 2 weeks, those 2 Sundays and the week between, I think we have an opportunity to respond to God in what he's doing as he raises up people to go to the nations. And so we'll have an opportunity to pray, to give as we seek the Lord on our faith promises, to hear God's word, and I think just to grow in our heart for the world.
As you said, as Trinity, we want to be people that have a heart for the nations, because that's Christ's heart, right, is for all of the world. And so not only do we want to be talking about the nations and missions and connecting with missionaries now over these 2 weeks, but we want it to be something that's going to propel us into the rest of the year as well. So I think it's an opportunity to get really excited about what God's doing amongst the nations, and then to have that on our hearts and be talking about it and continuing to connect with missionaries throughout the rest of the year. Or maybe it's an opportunity for God to be and hopefully raising up new people to be praying and giving and Lord willing, going as well to the nations.
Yeah, I think historically Trinity's been a sending church. And so we're just seeking the Lord that God would raise up more laborers that would get that call on their life to advance the gospel both here in the Cedar Valley and to the ends of the earth. Kristin, last year during the missions conference, we were in Australia, and we connected with a small group as overseas workers. What was 1 or 2 things that you found really encouraging from that time, and why would you encourage other small groups to connect with a missionary in the conference that's coming up in the next couple of weeks?
Well, I know we both, I guess speaking for both of us, we loved getting to talk to a small group. I think the biggest thing, we just felt really valued and cared for. They just asked us really intentional questions and, wanted to know how we were doing as a family. It was just really encouraging that they would take, pretty much their entire small group time to spend it with us. And I think as a way of partnering together, not just in prayer or financially, but actually getting to be together, and hearing also from them how they're doing and being able to partner in that together. It felt like the miles weren't so far away.
Yeah, I think it was really encouraging for me to know that our Trinity family still loved us, and like you said, still cared for us and valued us. And not only as overseas workers that they'd sent, but our family. We talked about ministry things, but we also just caught up on life and how our family was going. And I think coming out of COVID, and that was a different experience for us in Australia than it was for people in the U.S., but just how we were, ministry was going and how we were going with connecting with students and others over Zoom in that time.
So if a small group or a group of people from Trinity wanted to connect with some of the missionaries overseas or the local missionaries during the upcoming missions conference, how would they do that?
Yeah, so there's a number of missionaries that have expressed interest in connecting with a Trinity small group. Our missions conference this year runs from October 3rd to 10th, and really that week or the week before, you can contact Pastor John or Jean Neese, or really any of us on the missions task force to get connected with an overseas worker that would love to just be encouraged and prayed together. And so